Hey everyone, Ariel here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Lange Sohne Lange 1 moon phase. This is a update to the original Lange 1 moon phase. This adds a new movement and a new feature and a little bit of style difference. Lange Sohne is kind of obsessed with moon phase indicators these days, so this is one of many watches that they have that has the complication. So, and I write this in the review, you need to sort of carefully look through the options because this isn't even the only version of the Lange 1 with a moon phase. There are, I don't know, I mean, not even counting the different materials, there's like 4 or 5 different Lange 1s that have a moon phase. This is one of them. So how do you know which one is right for you? Well, if you like the quote-unquote original size of the Lange 1, which is 38.5 millimeters wide, this is the one for you. That is, of course, differentiated from the Grand Lange 1 moon phase that has a larger case. It's, I think, 41 millimeters. But there's also the, it's not called the Petite. I think it's called, is it called the Small? There's a Grand, maybe it's just called the Petite. Maybe it's called the Petite Lange 1. There's a woman's one. I forget exactly what it's called. Can't be called it's not called the Small. It's called, what is it called? That's driving me crazy. I'm going to look right now just because I want to know what the ladies' version of this is called. Little. The little Lange 1. I think it's about 36 millimeters. So this isn't even the smallest one. There's the little Lange 1 moon phase, which is a woman's watch, which is quite pretty actually. So the movement inside of here, let's get straight to the point. And this is the update, and this is the L121.3 in-house made movement. This is not, it has all the high-end finishing of an Lange Sohne, so it looks very nice, but it's not their most dramatic movement. You look at one of their chronographs, for example, or one of their more complicated perpetual calendars. There's like all kinds of crazy stuff going here. This is a very simple from the visual perspective, even though there's, I think, almost 440 parts in the movement. This is not by no means a simple movement. I'm just saying on the back of the watch here, 438 parts. On the back of the watch here, you just see the 3/4 plate. It's actually a little bit more than 3/4. The regulation system here, and of course, you know, the nice finishing. So a lot of the good stuff is hidden. It's not that big of a deal. It's just sometimes people have this perception of Lange Sohne that every single one has this like incredibly dramatic movement with all this stuff going on. And while that is certainly true of a lot of models, many of them are a little bit more sort of utilitarian, not utilitarian, basically you see the base plate here. It has a lot of nice hand decoration on there. You have the chatons with the gold chatons, with the blue steel screws to hold the rubies. It's very, very beautiful. Hand engraved balance cock there, which is nice, but it's not, you don't see all those parts. It's not this like this majestic ballet of mechanical componentry. One issue I had, and again, I am being nitpicky at this high price point, is underneath the balance wheel, the plate appears to be undecorated. It's just a spot that they, for whatever reason, didn't decorate. I don't know why. That's not particularly like Lange Sohne. I'm not even sure actually on how many models that is the case. I don't think it's all of them. And you won't notice, a lot of people won't even notice it, but underneath the balance wheel there is essentially an unfinished plate. Not that big of a deal, but again, it's an Lange Sohne, and I'm going to nitpick a little bit. Speaking of the movement, it's manually wound, which is fine. There's a power reserve indicator there. I find the crown to be a little on the smaller side. And the reason I'm bringing it up is you have to wind this watch every couple of days. This has, I think it's about a 70-hour power reserve and 72-hour power reserve. And you're going to have to wind it, you know, at least once every 3 days. And when you do that, the crown is, it's just a little on the small side. It's not that big of a deal, but, and the crown is proportionally the right size for the case. I mean, it looks nice. But there's so much utility and sort of a thought towards convenience in Lange Sohne watches that I would like to ask them in the future if you can think of something, maybe make the crown a little bit like wider in diameter, not necessarily wider that way, but wider in diameter, so it's a little bit easier to hold. I just want the winding experience to be as good as the wearing and the operating experience. The movement is very clever. It includes some new things that Lange Sohne has incorporated other movements. That is an instant jump of the date and a zero reset feature. And zero reset is, you see the seconds hand here, the idea is you pull out the crown. Okay, this one does not have the zero reset feature. I guess it's just the instant. Oh, the zero reset feature was a different model. I'm sorry. It has the instant jump for the date, and so that's important here. I'll show you why. Usually this type of thing would slowly change, and in this instance, it changes instantly, which is actually nice. You know, it's actually harder to find that than you think. Rolex does it, and boop. So no slow change, but just sort of a fast change there. Now, as a watch that is just a standard calendar, one of the things that you have to remember, of course, is the fact that you're going to have to change the date on months that aren't 31 days. And so that's where this pusher right here comes in. You just push that and you go ahead and you can change the date. Now, I like that because you can easily change it without sort of messing with the crown. And if you realize that it's the end of a 30-day month, for example, it's just a matter of pushing this one time. I was actually worried that this type of system would be prone to unintentional adjustment, meaning your hand could hit it or you could touch something, but you really got to push in there pretty hard to get it to work. So that's really less of an issue. There is a little inset pusher here, which is designed to change the moon phase indicator. Now, the Grand Lange 1 moon phase has the moon phase indicator inside of here, the time dial. I do not like that because I feel it takes away from your ability to read the time. I much prefer the moon phase indicator to be incorporated into the subsidiary seconds dial here. Also, it's not just a moon phase indicator, but it's a day-night indicator. So we have a moon phase indicator disc superimposed on top of a 24-hour display, which is essentially an AM/PM indicator. And what that does, as you saw, is as you change the time, the time moves from night to day. And you can kind of see how it has a nice color there. I'm just going to go back in time here because it's late at night. And we go ahead and we see the stars again. The stars are really nice. I'm going to take some nice macro photography. You can see the great detail that Lange Sohne really attempted to include into that. The Lange 1 is famous for its asymmetric display, which it is. You can see that the time is set to the side here, and it has a lot of great information here. Moon phase indicator, day-night indicator, powers indicator, big date, subsidiary seconds hand, and the time. That's a lot of stuff going on. And the genius of it, in my opinion, is that nothing overlaps anything else. You have a little teeny bit right here where the subsidiary seconds hand technically overlaps onto the dial, but for the most part, it doesn't really do anything. I'm actually gonna put this watch on. I actually like wearing this watch. It is a little smaller for me, for my taste. I'm probably a Grand Lange 1 man, but I actually enjoy wearing this. It's again, like I said, for me that likes bigger watches, that wears short sleeves and doesn't wear long sleeves, it's going to look a little off. But if you wear a suit, you wear sleeves, this doesn't look totally fine. And actually, once in a while, I prefer wearing a smaller watch like this because it just doesn't feel like it's in the way. And with the light colored dial, it's a solid silver dial, and these hands, it really jumps. You have those applied hour markers and things like that. There's a great sense of depth and texture. The dials on these watches are really, really nice, so attractive. And what's also cool is there's luminance. You have luminant in the hands, not that much of it, and the power reserve indicator. I don't think anything else has luminant in there, but you do have a little bit of luminant. I think it's kind of cute that they put it also in the power reserve indicator. So the famous Lange 1 asymmetric dial, which is balanced. It has all that information, 38 millimeters wide, available right now in 3 case materials. This is the rose gold one. There's also a white gold one, and there's also a platinum one. And in rose gold, it comes matched to this really nice brown alligator strap. They really have nice straps. Not all alligator or crocodile straps are created equal. Lange Sohne has some of the nice ones. Of course, others do, but there's a big difference between an inexpensive strap and an expensive strap. Or, I'm sorry, price often goes with a high quality versus a lower quality strap. Even the buckle is nicely done. What I also like about the case is the fact that the bezel is polished, the middle case is brushed, and then the case back, again, is polished. Again, not the only watch to do that, but it adds a nice sense of depth and visual interest to the watch. And again, it's not the thinnest watch in the world, but again, at this size, I'm guessing it's somewhere about 10 millimeters thick. It does wear very, very comfortably, as you can see. Beautiful timepiece. Again, this is the Lange Sohne Lange 1 moon phase, newly updated for, it was released at the end of 2016, not available for retail until 2017. Very nice timepiece, one of many moon phases, but they did a very nice job. Oh, I forgot to talk a little bit about the movement. It's a 3 Hertz, 72-hour power reserve, as I said, bunch of components. And the moon phase indicator, for those who care, is accurate to, I want to say, about 122 years or something like that. That does matter. Price for this lovely timepiece is 39,500 euros. It's a German brand, so they're going to be based on euros, not in the Swiss francs. In dollars, not exactly sure, but everything's based on the euro, and that makes things a lot easier. Really love this timepiece. You are going to be a very fortunate watch lover to be able to include at least one Lange 1 into your life at some point, or anything from Lange Sohne for that matter. See you next time.